Well, I am back again. I've had some updates on the stolen car front. It was not found, unfortunately. The car was never found. The insurance has sided with me, obviously, because it's not been found and filed the proper police reports and everything. Honestly, Geico's been pretty damn good about all of this. And I know I said that I was worried that we were going to get screwed over or something. We absolutely were not. They actually gave us more for the vehicle than I thought that they were going to. Very, very surprised. I don't have good luck with things like this in life in general. I was really expecting us to get screwed over. Just full honesty, full transparency there. I was really expecting it. And it didn't happen. We didn't get screwed over. We actually already got the payout. And I think that's crazy. So we can officially begin contacting different owners of probably the Jeep Wrangler TJ. That's what I'm looking at this point. My wife and I both want one really bad. We've been watching a ton of YouTube videos about people building theirs out, people buying used ones, and we've got so many cool ideas for it all. And I was kind of worried about the amount of space in the back of one of the TJs because of the fact that we have our pup and she needs some space. She's a golden retriever. She's not a small dog, but she's also not a big dog. And she doesn't fit on our laps or anything in the car. So we need some space for her back there and space for camping stuff. And so lots of stuff. I'm getting way off tangent there. But there's a lot of red flags and things that I'm starting to see in a lot of the listings that I wanted to bring up here and see if I should be worried about these. Y'all can let me know down in the comments. Should I be worried about this stuff or not? The first one I talked about in the last video, I saw a photo of a container of antifreeze in the front seat of one of the Jeeps. And to me, immediate red flag because of what I've read online. If you can see people with oil canisters and antifreeze canisters and things of that sort, they're probably leaking fluid. And obviously these older vehicles are known to leak fluid, and that's a pretty big red flag. That means instead of fixing it, they might just be topping off the fluids instead, which would leave it something for me to fix later. I'm just not into that. I immediately just trashed that listing and I won't look at it again because I just don't want to take that risk. And it wasn't even cheap. I think it was still $9,000 or something. So it wasn't even a cheap one. The other thing I've got to be mindful of, and my wife is especially guilty of this, but so am I, is falling in love way too early with one of the listings. There was one that was located out in Santa Cruz, really liked the look of it, but I don't know, they're charging $15,000 for it. But it was in very good shape, but it still had 134,000 miles on the Jeep. It was a 99 Jeep Wrangler TJ, I want to say. And yeah, $15,000 for that's just not it. I know a lot of people probably list way above what they're expecting to get it for. I do that with my guitars and stuff. I buy and sell guitars on Facebook Marketplace and such all the time because I'm just weird and toxic like that. I like to get new guitars, and so I buy or sell, trade, so on and so forth to get what I want. And so I'm no stranger to listing quite a bit above what I think I'll get for it, so somebody can offer me down to what I'm expecting to get for the device, or in this case, a car. So I get it, but that's why I'm also trying to not fall in love too early with a lot of the different listings that I've saved on Facebook Marketplace. And that's been tough, man, because there's some bangers on there. There's some really good ones. And a couple of them have already sold. There was one Jeep Wrangler that only had 84,000 miles on it, and it was a 99. And it looked like it had been kept in a garage the entire, how many years is that now? 26 years? Yeah, man, 26 years have been kept in the garage. Paint wasn't faded on it. Everything looked immaculate, even the interior. But that one sold super quickly, and it was only 11,000. And man, I'm just the really good ones go really quickly for a reason. So, it is what it is. I also found a lot of them that were pretty heavily modified. I touched on this in the last video as well. I don't want one that's already modified for a couple of reasons. One, I want to do the modifications myself. I want to learn to do all of this stuff. But two, I don't want one that's heavily modified because of that exact reason. Somebody just like me might have done the modifications. I don't know a damn thing about doing these modifications, and I'm probably going to screw stuff up. And I would guess that these people might have screwed some stuff up as well, might be hiding stuff. I try to assume positive intent of people, but I've been burned in the past. I don't want to get burned on this. This is going to be my daily driver. Therein lies the other reason, and again, I touched on this in the past video, is that if this is going to be a daily driver, I don't want something that's been beat to hell out on the trails. You know, I don't want something that's got alignment issues. I don't want death wobble. I don't want any of that stuff that is pretty likely to happen on something that's been off-roaded a lot. I also don't want something with like 35, 37-inch tires on it that hasn't been re-geared or anything like that. And I didn't know what any of that was until a couple of days ago. I had to research and find out that if you put huge tires on your Wrangler and you intend to go off-roading with it, you need to re-gear the gearbox because of the fact that the gear ratio is off and you're not going to get as much power to those wheels as you would like. And a lot of times I've read that these Wranglers are already kind of underpowered to begin with. I am looking at like the inline six, I think it's a 4-liter inline six. Haven't decided if we're going to go for the manual one or not. I haven't driven stick in 10 years. My wife has never driven stick shift. And so I would need to teach her how, and that's not a problem. That's a fun project in and of itself. She's gonna freak out the first time she stalls it, and she's gonna think that she's destroying the car or something, but I think it would be fun. But I don't know, man. Living in the Bay Area with the stick shift just ain't it. Like, even just going 8 miles down the road, like somewhere in the East Bay, would suck in a stick shift on a weekday. It would suck. Any other time, stick shift would be fine. It would be fun. Long road trips, hell yeah, man. But man, in the Bay, I don't know. That might be what makes us get the automatic, honestly. That might be the deciding factor. But all of these are wants, they're not needs. What I need is something reliable. We need something that we both like the look of so that we can both be happy and confident in the purchase, because this is, as much as it's my daily driver, it's gonna be our project car, and I'm pretty excited about that. So as far as what I'm reading about online, there's a lot of like common failure points. Rust seems to be a huge issue that I need to look for. So I'm making just like a mental and physical list. I've written it down somewhere in my notes app, but rust is something I need to look for on the frame, on anything underneath it. Thankfully, all of the ones I'm looking at, I should have no problem getting under. Weather's gonna be great when we go to look at them too. And so I should have no issues. Just gonna bring a flashlight and everything. Look for anything that's been degreased recently as well, just in case, so I can see if anything may have been leaking and dripping before. And that's the other one, is look for leaks, look for drips. I need to look for cracked headers. I need to look for, oh my gosh, something to do with the ball joints and something to do with just the whole front steering situation, that, and get it on a highway and get up to highway speed so I can check for death wobble. So I also went as far as to buy this thing. It's called the Blue Driver, and this is an OBD2 reader. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get a 95 or later, so 95 to 2006, again, because I wanted to be able to work on it. I want things with simple internals and less electronic issues, which the Jeeps in the later years did tend to have. But this little thing is just a simple OBD2 reader, and I mean, a lot of you have probably seen these before. I had one of these for my insurance back in the day. I had too many tickets when I had the WRX, and I had to switch to Metromile. And Metromile made me plug one of these in because they charge you by the mile, and this thing wirelessly transmitted the mileage to them, which is hilarious. But this is different. This will tell me if there's any check engine codes that have been thrown. I did a lot of research on these, and there's a couple other ones that have a lot of marketing out there that aren't as good as this one. So this one was twice the price. I think this was like 99 bucks or 69 bucks. I can't remember. But this has no subscription services. You get everything all at once with this one. And it had basically 5-star reviews. Their website is great. They seem to have great support. And so we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try this in our other vehicle probably tomorrow, just to get used to using it, get it synced to my phone and everything. So kind of stoked on this as well. But this is one of the ways that I'm gonna hopefully make sure that I don't get burned. We'll see though. Any of you Jeep owners or anybody that's worked on them, anybody that's had bad issues with them, let me know what else I might be missing, because I don't want to miss anything that is gonna potentially get me just a really bad lemon and something that somebody just really just tried to pass on to me. So again, I'm worried about all of that, but I'm also excited. There's a lot of stuff I am confident in working on, but nothing like truly detrimental to the car do I want to, take apart. I'm also hoping that I can find one that the seller has saved their maintenance history. That's something that I do with every one of my cars. Every time I go get an oil change or a service at the dealership, I always save all that. If I've had any work done on the car for any reason, whether it be a recall or parts replaced or whatever it is, I save all that paperwork. My glove box looks like a mess because of it. But that's just all important stuff when you go to sell a car. You want to be able to prove it. And as I found with the insurance stuff with the stolen car, is that stuff becomes really important when it comes to the valuation of your car in cases of total loss for insurance. They asked for all of that. I was not prepared for that. The insurance company asked for service records. They asked for any records of any other type of work that was done on the car. They wanted photos of keys. They wanted all kinds of stuff to ensure that the car was in the shape that we said it was in. And thankfully, we've been diligent about all of that. And so my advice to all of you is if you haven't started doing that kind of stuff yet, do it, because if something happens and you need insurance to cover your car, that will be a CYA moment for you. That is one huge lesson learned, and thankfully it wasn't a lesson learned negatively for me. It was a lesson learned that I was not just a hoarder. So yeah, I mean, we've narrowed it down to the probably 1995 to 2006 Jeep Wranglers. The TJs and I think the JK was the other one there. That's pretty much what we're looking at. I found a lot of Toyota Tacomas that looked good, but man, everybody just wants to sell them for too much money. I know that I don't get to decide how much a car is worth that I want to buy. That's up to them to decide. And I can decide, though, not to purchase it. I do not think that a 1995 Toyota Tacoma with 240,000 miles is worth $15,000. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about the jokes of, oh, it's just broken in. That car has been driven. If it was 150,000 miles, I might consider that much money on it. But 15K on 250,000 miles, you guys are crazy. For roll-up windows, man, come on. You guys need to get real. And I'm not talking ones that are lifted. There is no mods on these. These are really clean trucks, don't get me wrong. No body issues, paint may be faded and stuff, but 15 grand for a car that's as old as my wife, a little bit younger than my wife, and 250,000 miles on it. Nah, you can miss me with that one. You can miss me with that one. But the next video, or hopefully the next video that I post, is going to be of us actually going and test driving. I don't think I'm gonna encounter an issue where I need to test drive multiple of these. I think we're gonna keep doing our research and find the exact one. I'll probably film that part too so you guys can see like what listing finally got me and what the contact with the owner ended up looking like. I have messaged a few of them already. I've backed out of one because I didn't want to drive 2 hours to it, and they didn't want to come down on the price. I wasn't going to spend $15,000 on a 95. So it's again one of those things where it just didn't work out, even though it's a very clean Jeep, and they're probably going to sell it, but they're going to need to probably come down in price a couple grand on it. So especially with the mileage, it was like 125,000. And if it was lower mileage, I would proudly and happily pay that much money, but it's not. So yeah. But yeah, let me know what red flags to look out for in these Jeeps that I might not have covered earlier in the video. Please, 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 I need some help with this because I want to make sure that I'm not getting screwed over. Again, this is going to be my daily driver. I don't want to be left on the side of the road, especially on day one. Like all of the good ones that I'm finding are probably a good hour to an hour and a half away from me. So it's going to be a fun first drive home, and yeah. Hopefully everything goes well. Look out for the next one. Please follow along if you haven't already hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. There's a lot more to come on this topic. This is going to be a full series for me because I'm having fun looking for cars, and I'm going to have a lot more fun once we get it and we start to build out and, you know, renovating the car. Is that a thing? Do people renovate cars? Restoring, I guess, is what you would say. But we're going to put a lot of time, work, and hopefully not money into this thing once we get it. But yeah, until next time, peace and love, and I'll talk to you on the next one.